Hello, my beautiful YouTube friends and viewers. How are you doing? I'm Wardy, and today I've got DongRaeGu, the blue Zerg in the top right-hand side, taking on the red Terran in the bottom left, INnoVation, in a best of 3 Zerg versus Terran from the Olimoleague weekly semi-finals. For a lot of you, I'm sure this is a bit of a throwback. DongRaeGu, a player who dominated in 2011, 2012, created some of the most talked about StarCraft 2 games of all time, had rivalries against Marine King, just a legendary player. Fell off at the end of 2014 or so, really did disappear to do his military service. He came back, and he's been back a while, and he's been playing like a show match here and a show match there, but nothing like super crazy. Like he was playing in like GSL now and then, or qualifiers. And this season made it GSL Code S, did not advance through his first group. But lately, online, he is on a tear, and he is absolutely looking as though he's a top contender. Rumors even have it that he's at 6,800 MMR. So this guy is looking like a monster. And of course, what better way to test out how good he is than putting him up against INnoVation, who also looks as though he's been just improving and getting better and having a great time as of late, and playing some of the better StarCraft that he's played in the last year or so. Very exciting to see INnoVation really kind of hitting his stride in the current meta, because you know how it is with INnoVation. Sometimes he just doesn't, right? Sometimes he really does just flop for a few months on end, but these are not those months. So this should be, you know, a good TvZ, a great matchup based on that information I just shared with you guys. So let's hope that it is. This is a YouTube only cast. So hello to you all. I think this is my first proper YouTube only cast in a long time. Because the last few I've been doing them on Twitch, and I've still trying to be focused just on the game, no subs going off or anything like that. But yeah, just been very busy, guys. We've been streaming a lot, so hopefully you've been able to check out the live stream here and there, because we've been streaming a lot of great content, a lot of games. Like, we've been streaming like 10 hours a day, so been tough to do any YouTube only stuff, but obviously we've had great games to upload for you guys anyways. Of course, if you do enjoy the video today, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment either. We had a video the other day that, or the other week I guess, which hit 1,000 likes, and the viewership difference it had on it was insane. So do, really honestly, if you're just sat there watching and you have a mouse to click that like button, or you're watching on your phone, you can tap it. It goes a long way. And of course, we're very close to 20,000 YouTube subs too. So if you want to help us out there, we are 2,000-ish away. We can get there, guys. We can make this happen. How crazy is that? Thank you so much for all the support. Let's talk about the game. Cryptumor did get down. The Reaper kind of came in and, well, wasn't really able to do much at all, right? This was 6 Zerglings, which is a bit more than usual. Usually you can get away with 4, right? If you make 6, you're usually looking to be aggressive. I guess maybe he just wants to get this creep spread out aggressively, really easily. But again, typically this can be done with 4-lings. I mean, this was only 5-lings here as well, right? This one is already across the map looking for a scout. His INnoVation's build is just into those reacted Hellions. Already 2 of them out and 2 more on the way. The starport coming up, and we'll see exactly how he goes here in the next couple of minutes. Tech lab on the barracks, but that's kind of late for the starport to move to. So this looks like it is just a Viking, or maybe even a Liberator. Hellion Liberator into Stem has been one of the very popular choices lately. It could just be waiting for this tech lab to finish and then jumping onto it. Obviously, this Zergling got up the ramp and got to see the kind of timings of things here. Oh, interesting, guys. Sorry, I did not see the second factory. I see Blue Flame, and I'm like, oh. So this is a build that has come around a little bit lately, the Blue Flame Hellbat attack. And it's obviously very powerful, especially if your opponent is not on anything like roaches or bane lanes, which quite often they aren't when this hits. It really just powers up this Hellbat attack so that they just do so much against the Lings so quickly. It just makes it so much tougher to even kind of throw a few Lings at it to try and slow it down. So yeah, apologies on me. That's my bad, just assuming. You know what? I look at the production tab, I'm just like, oh yeah, everything's normal, right? There's nothing to mention. We can talk a bit about this or that. And here's me, there's a second factory down. Okay, well, Blue Flame on the way up. So yeah, this is going to be Hellbats. There is the armory as well. And it's going to go 4 Hellions in the main base, and then 4 at the front, or a few at the front, whatever he can find. I don't know how much I like the splitting of the Hellions here. You shouldn't drop straight down into, okay, that INnoVation, no. That is not how you execute this attack. Yeah, I don't like the splitting of them. I mean, especially not now when basically one Hellbat died and now another one is half HP. I mean, he still has a good amount to move at the front way. This is nice, by the way. These Marines going to get this Overlord kill, so DongRaeGu is going to find himself supply blocked in amongst all of this as well, which is also not fun, obviously. As these Hellbats continue through, he now is in the main base as well, so we'll try and keep an eye on both these fights. These Banes come in. The splitting is... It's okay from INnoVation, right? It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. It was actually unfortunate that the couple of Hellions in the back weren't morphed in, so they went down very easily. Oh, this is where you're going to deal damage. 10 drones down, 12, 13 drones down. I mean, that's the thing, right? It just takes so little to finally, to get those kills once you start finding them. A couple more Hellions showing up. There is some Banes trying to wander around. They actually do get a good connection there. Is this going to be enough to clean up? Those Lings starting to get a bit of a surround. Baneling connects. 18 workers have died, though. This Blue Flame Hellbat attacking the natural mineral line still. Having some fun, and that medevac will continue to transport them around. This Hellbat here has 7 kills on it. As yeah, he goes back into the main base. Will not unload just yet. 3 medevacs, which I think this is really important too. He keeps the medevacs alive. If you don't lose the medevacs, you're obviously going to have a much better time. Did he just fly the medevac into Queens just as I was saying this? He did. But if you keep the medevacs alive, it can really help you out with something of the follow-up here. This is going to turn out to be mech here from INnoVation, so mech will be the choice. As the armory is dropping down, it's already +1 vehicle weapons on the way. I mean, obviously, when you get into Blue Flame early like this, mech becomes a very stable choice from there. Now, let's start talking so much about this factory. We didn't really mention the fact that this was a faster lair and hence a faster spire from DRG. This attack then hit before he was really able to make any mutas, but now he stabilizes a little bit. He is able to get mutalisks up onto the map, and well, these Hellbats basically just have to suicide in and get what they can. It's too slow to chase drones, really, but what better choice do they have? I mean, try and go for the Queen. They probably don't get anything either way, so at least by chasing up this ramp, you kind of keep the drones from going back to the natural for a little while longer. So it's like, maybe you just buy a few more seconds where the Zerg is not then properly mining, right? Which, is not a bad thing. It also keeps the mutas busy a little bit longer, and with the 2 Thors on the way out, that should be good to help defend, of course. It's not crazy high mutalist count. Obviously, missile turrets should do a major part of shutting this down, but missile turrets aren't ready yet, and this Thor very slow to move at the moment. Has to cancel that missile turret, and that just leaves an opening where he doesn't want one at the moment. So INnoVation is able to push those mutalisks back. Now we see the next stage of this from DongRaeGu is going to be the Roach-Roar, and of course, it's not a crazy high mutalist count either, right? It's only 5, and especially with a couple of Vikings here, feels like he should have, okay, well now it's 4. Now he definitely has what he needs to really just turn this around. So like I said, DRG making his way towards that Roach-Roar, and they're playing from a bit behind based on the way that this Blue Flame Hellbat attack did so much. I mean, let's just have a quick recap here. 21 drones went down, and a lot of Lings as well. Resources lost absolutely in INnoVation's favor. So yeah, very good start from INnoVation, a start that he should be very happy with, as we do have Vikings, Thors, and the Hellions all joining up in the front of the natural expansion. Roach Speed is on the way out now from DRG. Like I said, the Roaches are going to be that next sort of step for him, and I guess it looks like he's just going to play kind of Roach Ravager. Not really moving in towards... I mean, he has the Bane in there, so he could play like Ravager Ling Bane. I guess waiting to see if he wants to. He has got money stacked up, and I was going to say maybe move in towards the Infestation Pit and the Swarm Hosts, because that's typically the other option if you're playing against mech here. Like, typically, you either go for something aggressive, or you kind of just go Swarm Host, because they buy you a lot of time. They take a lot of good trades for you. It looks as though we will get ourselves in towards that Infestation Pit. And again, with this amount of money and the gas banked up, it really does seem like that's going to be the investment into those Swarm Hosts. So, moving towards Swarm Hosts, and we'll see if they can be what DRG needs to pull him back in this game a little bit. 2 more factories dropping down from INnoVation in the main base. That will be 5 factories in total. A 4th command center out the front as well. And a few Hellions trying to run up this right-hand side, running into a couple of Roaches. And those Hellions find themselves pushed back away very quickly. So, Hellions back down to the south, as we do see the Swarm Host still coming up. Nidus Network on the 3rd base. And the Hellions continuing up to the top side as the Mutalisks coming in. Already dealing some good damage to a couple of those Hellions. As we do have the run by denied, right? And obviously, it's one of the nice things these mutas can do. Just sort of patrol the map a little bit. Watch for those run bys. just give you a little bit of a heads up as to where these Hellions are coming from, because losing even more drones in this game is never going to be fun. And that's one of the big things that INnoVation will be looking to do with these Hellions, to just remove the minerals from the game, right? Like, he's got so many minerals compared to the gas. Hellion's not going to be amazing in these fights. They're pretty useful against the Locusts. But running by a few for drones is always going to be worthwhile. Unless you, like, run 10 Hellions in and you kill, like, one drone. Then you might argue it isn't worth it. But even then, INnoVation would probably blink and be like, you know, Hellions, I'll replace them. First Nidus does up then, and the Swarm Hosts look as though they're going to go for the main base initially. So not going to go, I mean, I guess he doesn't know that this new base just landed here, DRG. So you're going to go for the main. He drops a single Locust down towards the supply depot. We'll just mostly go into this mineral line. A few Vikings coming in, try and deal a bit of damage, help to clean up. Probably not worth landing here to clean up either. Probably best just to let them expire. 8 SCVs down, though. It's not a bad start, and actually at the same time, INnoVation losing some units at the front. This little Roach Ravager force getting more than they might have bargained for, and with the Corrosive Vials available, that CC definitely is in trouble. Has to cancel the planetary, and that will slow him down. Now the Swarm Host on the top side, next Nidus ready, and we do see the second wave of Locusts moving towards this mineral line. It feels like INnoVation, despite seeing the Swarm Host coming, he's already having that problem where it's, you know, it's almost like he just doesn't know where they're coming from at any point, and so yes, it's difficult to know which Nidus they're going to pop out of, but there's been very little preparation, it feels like. And so the problem is when the first wave of Locusts start pulling you around and start getting you into positions you don't want to be in, etc., then the next thing you know, the next Nidus is already up and you've barely dealt with the first one, and it just is that kind of snowball effect. And, you know, Swarm Hosts are pretty big culprits of creating this snowball effect, because, you know, you go one way, you don't quite defend, then you're like, oh, you're late to go in the other way and defending there. In this scenario, even this I don't think is that great. He's going to lose a siege tank, which of course for the Swarm Host, you know, you get a tank here, you get a tank there. That obviously adds up over time. And DRG just sitting maxed out at the moment, so really strong recovery. I mean, let's look at the, you can see the income graph was definitely INnoVation favored earlier on here. DRG starting to get that back into control himself a little bit. You can see DRG's build up essentially to get back into this, and INnoVation just, yeah, I mean, obviously DRG has, you know, a roach based army, so there's a point where those roaches are not very good. Maybe INnoVation could have applied some more. I mean, this is the problem with mech, right? Even when you get ahead in the early game, mech does not really have like a killing move early enough to take advantage of that. So you're kind of left as these Wood Mines, I mean, they go off on Locusts, but then they're going to be killed. So yeah, when you get ahead, like if you kill like 20 workers in the early game and you're playing bio afterwards, the constant pressure basically means the Zerg is going to have a very tough time getting back in the game. And yes, the Zerg might be able to survive and hold on and just not quite die, but they're not in a winning position at any point. Against mech, that push never comes, so the Zerg can be very greedy. The Zerg can get back up to the drone count, and kind of funnily enough, the Zerg can find some fights that are good enough to get back in the game from behind, which I feel like you don't expect to happen against mech, but it happens more than against bio, just because of the way the compositions work. Hey, that's 2 Thors picked off over here, but now all of these Ravagers going down. This is an expensive loss, as we're going to see now. INnoVation realizes these Infestors are around. He's going to go chasing those. Another nice fungal growth. One Infestor goes down. Yeah, there was obviously a nice pick off on a lot of Ravagers there. As the Locusts come in for this bottom side base, I don't think he has enough of a surround, so Locusts are going to win out. Okay, well, INnoVation is across the map. A lot of Roaches rebuilding. He's only on Cyclone, so I'm not sure he can really do anything against all of these Roaches. Like, yeah, you can get a lock on, you can probably kill a lot, but you won't kill all of them. I'm not sure if INnoVation wants to fight there. That bottom side base going down. He does have a new one in the center of the map, so we'll set this up. As he comes in, that's a big fungal growth. A nice catch with the Infestors. And these Cyclones are now jumped on by the Roaches. When you take away the Cyclone's power to kite, the Cyclones go down very quickly. Good usage of the Infestor there by DRG. Saw the opportunity, hit the fungal growth. And again, that's absolutely what you need. Just creates very efficient trades for you against the Cyclones, which is what the Cyclone, you know, the Cyclones are meant to be the efficient units. The Cyclones are meant to be the ones which are able to trade very well. That obviously not the case here just yet, as, well, 14 drones SCV, going down on the third base. So a lot of work is being killed off by DRG, who finds this little army in the bottom right as well, and it feels like everything is just swinging in his favor at the moment. He's starting to look very, very good here in this game 1, as you do have the few Swarm Hosts still joined up on the top. Hellions and the Cyclones picking off another Nidus network. And into the middle of the map, Lings, Roaches, and Infestors joining up together and maybe thinking about pushing. Cyclones and Hellions here. And he can attack into, going to morph in some Banelings already. Adrenal Glands on the way. And I think DRG realizes that he's doing enough with this, Swarm Host play that he can actually just commit in with the Roach, Roach Bane basically at this stage. He's going for this Planetary Force. The Fungals on the SCVs. So now a couple of Banes show up, and this Planetary Fortress will go down. Maybe took a little while longer than DRG was hoping for, a little while before his Banes actually showed up. He will lose quite a few Roaches on the exit, especially as these few start going along the bottom side. Now some Cyclones have found this bottom right base as well, so suddenly things... I'm not going to say they're looking brighter for INnoVation, but at least he is finding some damage. At least he's not just sitting back and slowly letting, death overcome him, because that was kind of what was happening for the last 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, I know he tried to move out at one point and he got fungled, but that was already after he just sat back and took a bunch of damage, right? Now, we've got ourselves an army from INnoVation, which moving back onto the map once more. Can he do anything here? It's very difficult with the Infestors. These Infestors are just so scary. And these Cyclones already just backing away out over the left-hand side. Someone's over here going to jump up, and some Locusts are going to make their way towards the orbital. A couple of Cyclones having to pull back. Locusts continuing to drop down already. A lot of Cyclones taking a lot of damage. Taking a lot of damage, actually, is now trying to move back up this top side. We're going to see Lings, Banes, Roaches, and Ravages pushing through as well. Another Cyclone lock on, and Infestors dropping some fungal growths here and there and having a pretty good time. There's just so many Cyclone losses, and while you do kind of clean up a lot of the Ravages here and so on, now you're in a position where you just don't have the rebuild like you need it to be. And even then, do you fully clean this up? Oh yeah, okay, I didn't see these Cyclones still alive on the top side. So you fully clean this up. DRG has 2k, 3k in the bank. And this is just INnoVation not being able to mine from these bases. He's actually had the work account all this time. It's just they've constantly been shut down, and the base is constantly going, down again and again. As he gets these bases up, you can see the income from INnoVation. It's starting to level out a little bit, but yeah, he's just not done enough against DRG. Yes, he killed this base at one point, and don't get me wrong, that was nice. It's been a big reason he took a eco lead back. But again, did DRG just not control the eco too much before now? Well, yeah, I would imagine so. That's exactly what I'm expecting. And 23 Mutalisks on the way. That's a tech switch that you're not really ready for as INnoVation. Now, Cyclones, if they can get the lock-ons to these Mutas and kite away and not go down, that's big. Because then you can maybe kill half these Mutalisks right away. And if you can do that, you're gonna probably be in a good spot. But here's the issue. Lings and Banes already running in. Cyclones already using their lock-ons. So they're all going to be on cooldown here. And then the Mutalisks show up. And you've got no lock-ons onto Mutas, or the few that you do get. I mean, it's just going to be very pitiful how long or how many Mutas you get in comparison to how many you probably needed. Because while you did shut down the Muta count, now your Cyclone count is gone. And now the Mutalisk count is going to go across the map and be very, very scary for INnoVation to deal with. In fact, I'm not sure if you can really deal with this at all. Missile turrets aren't even up on these bases, which have been denied a couple of times. As these Cyclones just getting, picked off pretty much right away. He will chase into the missile turret here. I don't think DRG is all too concerned as Cyclone after Cyclone goes down. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive. But it's keeping INnoVation again on this back foot. And if you can start to overwhelm, well, then you've got bases you can jump in on and all sorts. He's going to pick off siege tanks here, which will give him access with the Locust a bit more easily. These Locusts just getting on this base. Not sure why they're on the ground already, but this Planetary Fortress likely just to fall. INnoVation doesn't even try to repair it. Hellions across the map at least are finding a few more drone kills, which is something. As he comes in here, and this is just an orbital command that's going to go down. I mean, again, INnoVation just has, at this stage, CCs to replace this with, so this is the damage you need to close this out as DRG. And okay, it got a little bit messy. Okay, INnoVation definitely got quite a lot of Mutalisk kills here, don't get me wrong. He's killed 32, and the initial Mutas that were made, there was what, it was 7-ish? So he's lost 25 meters, but he's forcing INnoVation into really the last couple of CCs that he has. I mean, this is another orbital here. If it's only an orbital, then of course it can't protect itself against the swarm host. You always need units to help it protect itself. These Locusts do drop down. A few SCVs will start to fall in the mineral line there. So 8 more workers, INnoVation to 31 drones. I mean, DRG is on 51 workers, but the fact he's got Swarm Host still up, obviously that efficiency helps out massively at this stage of a game where it does get scrappy and it does become low eco. So yeah, maybe DRG could have done himself a favor by building up the drone count a little more, but I think he's afraid to let up the pressure because I think he thinks if he lets up the pressure, INnoVation is just going to get back into it, which may very well be true. You know, INnoVation's a very good player, and wouldn't say that would be too surprising, as this are, again, the Mutilus are going to catch all these Cyclones here. And INnoVation's just going to leave the game this time around. Feels like he's not going to be able to rebuild from that. And DongRaeGu is going to pick up this first map of the CVT after taking so much damage early. Again, I think it's worth mentioning and keeping in mind that taking that much damage early is very much so... It is very much so kind of like against Bio, it's very bad. But against Blue Flame, it's committed, right? So, you know, you've already built an earlier second factory, your third CC is later, you've invested into Blue Flame, you're building more Hellions than usual, which means the 3 CC is really later than usual. And then you're playing mech behind it, so not only is it more committed, but then you're playing the composition, which is much worse at kind of capitalizing on leads and eco advantages early in the game. It's obviously just a bit of a... I just want to say, it's like, DRG's not... I'm really struggling to say what I want to say. I should have just gone to the next game. Basically, I'm just trying to say, like, I'm not as surprised about this comeback. It was sick, don't get me wrong, it was good. And he had to work for it, but if it was against Bio, it would have been even more like, what? How did he do that? That's my point I'm trying to make, but I made it terribly. So you know what? Let's just go on a game number 2 and see if INnoVation does find a way to fight back. Map number 2 going to be Nightshade. Definitely feels like INnoVation's map pick, as he is the red Terran bottom right-hand side. Taking on the blue Zerg in the top left, DongRaeGu DRG. Excited to see if he can keep up this performance. 1-0 up in this best of 3 series. Just as I mentioned, guys, just we have this game starting up and doesn't look like we have any proxy racks or anything. Again, a lot of people recently really have been very awesome in asking me how they can support the content, especially if they're, you know, people who watch on YouTube and they don't, guys don't use Twitch and stuff. I know there's a lot of you guys. And again, the answer to that is a couple of different ways. The first is Patreon, patreon.com/WardiTV. I pretty much always link this down in the description. So patreon.com/WardiTV. Everything you pledge on Patreon goes to tournament prize pools, so it does support me in the sense that it basically helps me run my tournaments, so do check that out. Otherwise, you can also check out the YouTube membership system. There's a join button below the video, and we also have a Discord. On our Discord server now, we actually have YouTube memberships as a role, so you guys can go on there. You can join the subscriber channel like all the Twitch subs, and you can get the replay packs and stuff as well. That's $5 a month, I believe. And like I said, that's you can join that too if you would like to. Obviously, that just helps support the YouTube content and stuff in general. I think we'll probably take like $1 of each of those and put them into prize pools as well. But in general, just, you know, both good ways of supporting the stream, supporting the events, and it's always appreciated, of course. As this Overlord heading down the bottom right-hand side, the SEV of INnoVation out up to the top. And we get into this game. Thank you for listening to my little sellout spiel, as you didn't really miss much at all. Obviously in the game. Hatch, Gas, and Pool going to be coming in on Nightshade. As the Reaper pops out, INnoVation will move that out to the top left-hand side. A couple of Queens for Zerglings on the way into play here from DRG. And really nothing out of the ordinary. Let's keep an eye on what INnoVation wants to get up to here, as the second gas will come down. Okay, so it's not going to be any sort of 3cc off one gas. Really is kind of out of the meta, so that's not too surprising, especially on a map like Nightshade. It's a very good map for Terran as long as you get to the mid and late game. So to get there, a lot of the time players will just open Banshees just to make sure they are that much safe. You know, they are just safe, right? And you know, I think Banshees as an opening works perfectly fine, right? You have that cloak, you can absolutely deal some damage early on, you can absolutely make the Zerg's life a misery. As you do see this Reaper out through into the middle of the map, third hatch up on the top side, creep spread pushing forwards, and the starport dropping down on the main. Just going to see this factory going to swap over to the reactor, and the barracks pulling back a little bit as well. As these couple of Hellions just continuing out on the starport coming through. And the Overlord is going to be out into middle as well. A couple of Lings moving around. Creep spread pushing forwards, and the Reaper dealing a bit of damage there to those few Zerglings, so a little bit of damage done. Obviously, the Reaper just trying to, if possible, get a creep tumor. This would maybe be the moment, but already having taken a hit, just probably wouldn't survive it. So, more important to keep the Reaper alive. Nice attempt, though, from INnoVation, as we do see the first few Hellions joining up now. What is this back at home? It is going to be Banshees. Like I say, it's just one of these maps where it's also a good map for Banshees, right? You know, you've got some space behind this third base where the Banshee can fly. You know, it can get in towards different mineral lines very quickly and easily. Same on the natural, you can, you know, dead airspace into a mineral line right away. So it's also a good map for Banshees. Plus, again, it's one that roaches can move across easily. And it's one you just want to get into that mid-game on as the Terran player. So let's see what INnoVation can do. Is he's going to lose a Hellion. That's obviously pretty crazy. Going to see there's a couple of Hellions into the middle of this command center from Inno, dropping down on the natural. Yeah, Hellions trying to move up this ramp, but the Queen's just going to come into position and deflect these. So Hellions will not find any opportunity. Yeah, DRG again on this pretty fast lair. So I didn't really get much of a chance to talk about this last game because I was talking about the two factories. And we did obviously eventually see just fast Mutalisks showing up, and this really has become pretty meta again. So this lair coming through, upgrading. Going to be seeing our Hellions and the Reaper in the center. Banshee around this top side from INnoVation. And there's a couple of Marines pressing forwards, going for this Overlord. So looking to try and grab this. But the Overlord's got full information that this is bio already. So yeah, I guess DRG, is he going to go fast Mutalist though? Because I feel like fast Mutas on Nightshade is not so great. What he might just be doing this time is just getting Baneling speed and just playing kind of like Heavy Ling Bane. Okay, now he's going to go Spire. I was going to say, but the lair also gives you an Overseer, which is really nice when you're playing against the Banshees, right? Because then you get this mobile detection much sooner, much earlier in the game. That obviously helps out a lot and goes a long way as these Queens coming out to the back of the natural expansion. That Baneling speed coming up, the Spire on the way down. Yeah, I mean, these two Banshees, we'll see what they can do. I mean, meters are just not really used on Nightshade because of the fact it's so good for pushing us the Terran player anyway. These Queens show up, the Banshees get pushed back. A lot of Lings on this bottom side are going to go run in, and they're going to get a surround and a kill on these Hellions. So Hellions already picked off. Feels like INnoVation is just kind of losing a few units here and there and not really gaining much. I mean, it's mostly just the Hellions so far. Obviously, that's never a great start, but these Banshees have been unable to do anything as well. So, yeah, INnoVation definitely not finding the damage that he wants. We'll see what the Mutas can do. Again, it's just a little scary because it is a shorter map, so it's one of the ones where, the Terran just hits you quickly, and so do the Mutas ever really get a chance to, start dealing damage? Even if they do, then you pull back as the Terran, you can get back into position very quickly as these two medevacs up through to the top side. Banshees down the right, and a couple of the Queens coming out to the side as well as these medevacs, I'm sure, are about to unload and get ready to fight a little bit as well. So INnoVation going to try and drop. Obviously, if he can clean out some of this creep spread, that would be great. He is going to be trying to open some pathways, although I'm not sure this is the most important pathway. This one on the right-hand side. Generally, the pathway up the front to the fourth base is deemed the most important in this matchup, as that's going to be the medevacs lifting and getting out of there. Does supply block DRG by killing the Overlord, but Mutas are chasing, and now the Lings are going to be on top of this as well, so he can actually just continue to fight. A couple Banes showing up, he doesn't really need them, and the Mutalisks will go down. Now he's on top of the siege tanks as well, so DRG is going to dive in for a lot of damage. Obviously, these Mutalisks will be able to get rid of the Banshees as well, but he's already on top of this third base mineral line, and SCV's in a lot of trouble. This is falling apart all of a sudden for INnoVation. He's just not quite ready for these Mutas. Obviously, the fact these Mutas get the chase on the medevacs to the point where they can actually force them to unload into Lings means that you just kill so much there right away as DRG, and even upgrades don't save you as INnoVation. So INnoVation does have a big upgrade lead, but that's some great pickoffs from DRG. I mean, you take down 2 siege tanks, that is absolutely massive. And that's absolutely huge. 2 tanks is very expensive. There's a couple of mules already starting to go down. These Mutalisks now in toward the natural mineral line. 1-1 upgrades Still just ticking along, and maybe you just go for this when 1-1 kicks in as DRG, because you've definitely taken some of the, well, INnoVation units out of this. I mean, maybe you can actually, if INnoVation is going to move out like this, okay, you lose 2 Mutalisks here. He's just going to lift and boost back. This time he's going to boost within range of his base, where there is a missile turret, where there is units set up properly from the start. Lings and Mutas out into the center. A lot of this creep spread pushing out into the middle of the map. Going to be having our 2-2 upgrades on the engineering base. Continue to tick along right here, as our Mutalisks will be out on the bottom side. Ready to harass into the main. I mean, INnoVation obviously hasn't had a great game so far, and the fact these Mutas are going to now keep him pinned back a little bit. Going to keep him a little bit busy in this main base. Actually, going to turn around and fight these Marines. That's, well, I would say a very brave thing to do, but he actually really does win that fight. Good call from DRG, gets himself a reactor because of it. Now he's going to start running with Lings and Banes. Well, 1-1 finish, but I don't think there's any fight you really take here. There's no reason to take a fight here. Especially when back at home, you're just picking off reactors. You're going to be shutting down reinforcements. You know, the Terran at this point is basically all in pushing onto creep because he's in such a bad position. And DRG hold it off. Well, a lot of Banes being brought into play. The Mutas are coming back, so DRG is respecting this move out from INnoVation. These tanks siege right in the front, and okay, they soak up some of the Lings and the Banes, but I'm not sure how that was meant to go. But that's definitely not a good way for it to go. And INnoVation is just going to get out of here as DRG overruns him. And obviously that pick off early was a key part of that. And DRG 2-0 INnoVation here in the Olimoleague semi-finals. Advanced on through to the finals. Just sick play from DRG. Actually, worth mentioning that in the round before this, he beat Trap in the round of 8, 2-1. He then went on and beat Trap in one of the 2 series they played in the TSL career qualifier recently as well. Just crazy stuff. DRG, like I said, is kind of on fire at the moment. It's a pleasure to watch because it's really fun to see someone really come back from the military and have this much success. And obviously he's not turned that into like larger events yet, like the GSL, but it's shown the potential to go that way, right? Very, very exciting. DRG does close out here against INnoVation. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this YouTube-only cast. I hope you did enjoy. Really glad to find the time to be able to get one of these up for you guys. There might be a couple in the next... I don't have a lot of videos to upload for the next day or two, so I'm going to have to record some stuff, but we might have to just record some stuff while streaming because we've got some events where there's going to be downtime between, and, well, you guys know the drill. I've explained it all before, so that's just the update. Let's keep this going. Let's get to that 20,000 subscriber mark. That's incredible that we're so close. I can't believe it. And again, thank you for all of the support lately. I really do appreciate it, guys. And, yeah, DRG wins this one out 2-0 against INnoVation. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you so very much for watching WardiTV.